name's Louis Ringe. I own what is called the #1 Black Beauty, or the hero car, or the working prop car. It was built by Dean Jeffries in 1966 for the 26-episode TV series, The Green Hornet. Dean built 2 cars. He built this one, the #1 car. The second car was built for long shots, promo work, and this kind of thing. This is the car that was predominantly driven by Bruce Lee. It's the car you see in the series that does all the mechanical work, the rockets, the brooms, the smoke, the green headlights.
Yeah, I got a call from Greenway Productions was the name of it. That's in 1965, 66. They just wanted me to come up with something that was very unique and different, but they didn't want hot rod looking stuff. They wanted more of just a big heavy duty car is what they were talking about. So that's when they give me a couple of those Chryslers. I started just doing some sketches and drawings of it, of what I thought would be okay and if they would like and this, that. And they had certain things they needed inside. So we needed a lot of room in the back seat area. So we had to stretch that out. Actually, the body's still the same, but inside we had to stretch it out and get as much room as they could have for filming and also for all the mechanisms and things I had to have in there. So there we just started in on the whole thing. I cut the top off at the back end and added, I think maybe it was around 14 inches, 18 inches, just in the top alone. And then redid the doors, took all the regular door handles and stuff off and made little push button ones with electricals. So to pop them, little buttons, and they pop it open. And then we built all kinds of electrical things that traveled, little push button things that traveled all the way from one end of the car to the other end of the car. And we had to make rocket things up in the front. We had to have I think the front end we had shot grease oil and things like that out the front and also out the back end. Had a little rocket thing that would lift on the deck lid. Little doors would open in the back end area where you could shoot out the back end too. Boy, it goes on and on. All kinds of little toy things in there.
I like the opportunity to get the car for several reasons. One, I'm a Green Hornet fan and a Bruce Lee fan. The second is I have a passion for collecting props, some science, mainly in the science fiction venue, and I've always enjoyed collecting props. And when something as noteworthy as the Black Beauty comes along, considering in essence there is only one, there is only one. It was my opportunity to have something that nobody else in the world would have. One of the venues I have had that I enjoy along with this car is not only its history related to the show, but its actual literal history. In fact, the physical history of the car is as much of a mystery as the Hollywood side of the car. The car, after the show was canceled, sat on Fox's back lot for many years, rotted away. There is a non-confirmable history up until the mid-'80s when it was purchased by a lady in Santa Monica who had it for several years. And as I understand, by third party, sat in her yard and rotted away for several more years until this lady in Santa Monica died in the early 90s when the car went back to Dean Jeffries and was restored. It spent probably 27 years of its life sitting out and rotting away. It was an absolute rust bucket when Dean got it in an effort to undertake a complete restoration of the car.
It was pretty beat up, pretty bad. So I ended up restoring it all for this guy that bought it and put it all back to the original, so it's right the same, you know.
He restored the car, and he has given me a lot of help, and we've had a lot of fun restoring it to the way the car was originally delivered to Fox in 1966, which has been my desire.
So it's a pretty nice car now.
In my mind, in my conversations with Dean, seeing some of the stuff that he has built over the years, he is probably, in my personal opinion, one of the finest car customizers there is out there.
Well, that I don't know. I don't even think about things like that.
When Dean Jeffries built this car in 1966, there was no such thing as Hollywood magic. The cars actually had to do what was required. One of the things that, to start with, the car was built with rockets front and rear. They actually exploded, shot charges out of the front end. In fact, the first time they did it, they overdid it and blew half the front of the car off, so they had to do a little rework on it. But the scenes in the episodes where it shows the car firing rockets, they were actually wired up in the car, and the rockets were actually coming out of the car, unlike today where they do them with computers and Hollywood magic and so forth. The gas gun in the center actually did emit a gas. In the nuance of the show, it was a non-lethal Green Hornet gas. The rear of the car had several devices which were used to help its stealth, surveillance, and anti-pursuit capabilities. The simplest one were a pair of brooms behind the rear wheels that, when deployed, would sweep away the tire tracks. Another item never seen in the shows. It had dual license plates, another item never seen in the shows. Had the V194 and a second plate. It had a set of rotating rockets in the rear to disable a pursuing vehicle, along with a emitter that would come out of the center of the rear, which would emit water, ice, oil, whatever was necessary. For surveillance uses, in the center of the trunk, there was a scanner that was deployed. It was about the smallest bit of Hollywood magic that was involved with the show. In essence, the trunk, center section of the trunk would open up. This would lift up and would fly off, which would enable the Green Hornet to pursue individuals at a distance without physically moving.
All the stuff I just handmade, you know, little pieces of metal or aluminum or brass, whatever it would take, and metal. Most all of I just hand formed the metal parts and things like that. There's nothing I went out and bought or anything like that. They're just standard things I had to make and build and stick in there, you know, because it was different. They wanted them completely different.
The number one car has two rams in the front and two rams in the rear, and when they come out, they made up two arms that are in the garage floor. Ostensibly, this is where the Black Beauty is stored. It's rolled into the garage. These arms come up from the floor, attached to these rods, and then the garage floor rotates 180 degrees. Because of the way filming was done in the 60s, there are virtually no pictures of the actual inside of the car. The dashboard has a dial phone. It has a scanner assembly receiver that would enable the driver, Cato, to follow the scanner that came out of the trunk. In the rear console that the Green Hornet had at his disposal, he actually had a closed-circuit TV receiver to receive transmissions from the scanner that would fly out of the trunk, a radar system. There was a closet that would hold a change of clothes, along with the actual console that actually physically works the devices on the car. There is a second console in the passenger rear door, which was never seen in the series. Another device that was you did not see in the series is there were actually gun pockets on each side of the car, up and behind the rear door, which is where the Green Hornet would store the Hornet Sting and the Hornet pistol.
I just enjoy, and I'm real happy that I get to do what I do. I'm really happy about it. You know, to go from a little guy from Linwood, California, from out in the middle of nowhere, and to be back to where you can make things and build things and be part of the movie works things, you know. The guys and the people I've run into have been super great, super nice, and it's been a real happy time, you know. I hope it keeps staying.